Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, November 12th, and we are on day 7 of Module 2 in Wit and Wisdom today. And we're going to start with our vocabulary video. We did not get to watch it yesterday because yesterday was such a long lesson, but we're going to watch it today. But before I show the video, I think I need to remind some of you what you're supposed to be doing with your vocabulary journal. This is your vocabulary journal. All of Module 1, you had vocabulary words for every single book that we read. You were supposed to write 2 words on each page. Write the definition and then draw an illustration. So we had, for the book, How Do You Know It's Fall? We had inform, glossary, directions, observe, cooler, migrate, store, write, celebrate, and details. And then we had for the little yellow leaf and a color of his own. We had autumn and beckon, amber and heaps, soar and shimmer. We had healthy, heather and camouflage, remain, chameleon. And then we'd added in the word evidence. And then for the book, Why Do Leaves Change Colors and Sky Tree, we had shape, separate, absorb and uncurled, disappear and chlorophyll. We had flutter and huddle, drift and stream. And we added the word cycle, okay? I accidentally have evidence in there twice, but so we added this word cycle. Guys, you had a total 32 vocabulary words for Module 1. You should have had 2 words on a page with the definition and the illustration. Part of your work last week was to upload pictures of all of these pages, and so many of you have not done that yet, or so many of you have words out, okay? I really would like for you to take a better care of that in Module 2, okay? Last week, I gave you your new vocabulary list. The list was for the Buffalo are back and Plains Indians, and I even gave you a picture of what words should be on what page. So we start on page 21. You had the word bison and buffalo. Page 22, settle and settler. Page 23, fragile and withered. 24, crumbled and plains. 25, roam and tough. 26, fertile and nomadic. 27, teepee and tribe. And 28 is the word reservation. Again, you need the word, the definition, and an illustration for each, okay? I expect your vocabulary journals to be better the second 9 weeks, okay? For Module 2, I expect them to be better. If you don't remember where the vocabulary words are, please let me share. If you go to your class page, to Wit and Wisdom, week 4, I moved them for you. Look, it says vocabulary, module 2, the buffalo were back, and there they are. Here's the vocabulary words. Here's the pictures that I told you I provided for you so that you know what things are supposed to look like. Please do it correctly this time, okay? All right, so we're going to listen to the vocabulary video now, and then we will go to our lesson with Miss Sabella.
Hello, second grade friends, and welcome back to grade 2, module 2 vocabulary. My name is Mrs. Nowell, and I'm super excited today to practice the vocabulary from Focusing Question Arc 2. Our first word is tribe. Let's say tribe. Thank you. Look at the icon for tribe. When I look at the icon, I notice that there's a lot of people together, and I wonder what that has to do with the definition of tribe. Let's read the definition. The definition of tribe is a group of people with the same background, language, and culture. So the icon helps me remember that tribe is a group of people together that share a background, language, and culture. Let's listen to the word and definition in Spanish.
La tribu significa un grupo de personas con los mismos antecedentes, lengua y cultura.
Fantastic! Now, let's practice reading the word tribe in a sentence. Many tribes lived on the flat, grassy plains. Now, you try. Thank you for trying. Our next word is nomadic. I'm looking at the icon and I'm noticing that the people are walking from one place to another. Let's look at the definition. Nomadic. Please say that word. Great. Now, let's read the definition. Moving from place to place without keeping a home in one place. Oh, now that makes sense why I see people moving from one place to another. An interesting thing about nomadic is they don't have a home just in one place. They make their home wherever they go. So that icon is going to help me remember the word nomadic. Let's listen to the word and definition in Spanish.
Nómada significa que se traslada de un lugar a otro sin mantener un hogar en un solo lugar.
Great. Now let's practice using the words nomadic and tribe in a sentence. Please read along with me. The Lakota are a nomadic tribe. They move around to hunt and gather. Now you try.
The Lakota are a nomadic tribe. They move around to hunt and gather.
Fantastic. Thank you for trying. Let's try another practice. For this practice, I'll share a discussion question. I want you to discuss the question with someone nearby, like a learning partner. After I read, pause the video and discuss the question. Use the sentence frame and vocabulary as you discuss. What might the Lakota tribe gather? The tribe might gather blank. I'll read the question one more time. What might the Lakota tribe gather? Please pause the video now and use the sentence frame, the tribe might gather.
So what do you think the Lakota tribe would gather if they wandered around? I remember in the book it talked about some of the tribes would wander around and gather plants and vegetables and fruits from different areas. So my sentence would be, the tribe might gather food. Tell your learning partner what your sentence is.
For me, I answered this question, the tribe might gather seeds and berries. When I was thinking of what the Lakota tribe might gather, I thought they might gather seeds and berries. Our last word is reservation. This is a map of South Dakota, and the arrow is pointing to some land in South Dakota. Let's think of and learn about the definition of the word reservation. The definition of reservation is an area of land controlled by Native American tribes. Oh, that makes sense. The Native American tribes control the land that the arrow is pointing to in South Dakota. Let's listen to this word and definition in Spanish.
La reserva significa un área de terreno bajo el control de una tribu aborigen norteamericana.
Great. Now let's practice reading the word reservation in a sentence. Many Lakota now live on reservations. Now you try.
Many Lakota now live on reservations.
Fantastic. Thank you for trying. To review, here are the 3 words that we practiced today. Let's say each one of them one more time. Repeat after me. Tribe.
Tribe.
Nomadic.
Nomadic.
Reservation.
Reservation.
Fantastic. Please remember to use these words as much as you can when speaking or writing. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and thank you for doing great things with great vocabulary. Until next time, bye-bye.
Okay, so those are some of the words that we have in our vocabulary journal that you're going to be working on. And so we're going to go ahead and get started on our video lesson for today. We're on day 7. And remember to have out your knowledge response journal. We're on page 58 today. We're going to go ahead and get started.
Welcome back, amazing thinkers. I'm Sue Sabella, your Great Minds teacher. Let's see what we need for today. Today we'll need Plains Indians, handout 7A, main topics and details, your journal, scissors, and a pencil. Please pause here to gather what you need, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so you have a digital copy that I gave you yesterday of Plains Indians. You do not need main topic and details handout 7A because it's a paper copy and you don't have one. You need your knowledge and response journal. You do not need scissors, but you do need a pencil.
Details are small pieces of information. But details are so important to growing our knowledge, especially if we want to become experts on a topic. When we take those details and we start to put those details together, we think about how they're connected. And then we tie up those details with the topic or the topic statement. Today, we'll be exploring details and topics. What is happening in this text? Today, we'll be reading details closely, and we'll think through how those details are connected. What is the topic that ties them together? We'll be thinking through this together. As we grow our knowledge today about Plains Indians, we'll be using buttons and bags. Buttons and bags will help us think about the details and how those details are connected by a topic or topic statement. You have a choice here. It's time for you to get your buttons together. So you can use the buttons from handout 7A, and you can take time to cut those out. You can also make your own buttons on paper or use real buttons. It's completely up to you. We will be using these buttons again, so please don't throw them away. Pause here to get your buttons ready, and you should have about 7 buttons. And then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so like I said, you do not have a copy of this with you. I will upload it for you if you want to print it off and cut out your own buttons and bags. If you do not have a printer, but you still want to make your own buttons and bags, you can just use a plain piece of paper to draw your own buttons and then cut them out, okay? So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do that and then continue the video.
As we read together today, we're going to keep this question in mind. How were the Indians from the Western Plains different from the Indians of the Eastern Plains? That question will help us guide our thinking as we read details about the Plains Indians. Ready? Here we go. Who are the Indians of the Great Plains? On the dry western Great Plains, early Indians lived mainly by hunting bison. That's an important detail to remember, that the Indians in the Great Plains, in the western area of the Great Plains, hunted bison. That's an important detail to remember. So I'm going to take that button to remember that detail. Instead of living in permanent villages, they often moved from place to place. Well, I remember what that means. That means that they were nomadic. They moved from place to place. And they following bison herds and gathering wild plants. They became expert hunters and came to depend on the bison for most of their needs. The Indians on the western Great Plains were nomadic. They moved from place to place. I'm going to take a button for that one. That's definitely an important detail. Now I'm going to page 12 to gather some more information. Farmer hunters of the Great Plains. On the eastern Great Plains, more plentiful rainfall created conditions favorable to farming. Tribes in these areas raised crops such as corn, beans, and squash. Like tribes to the west, they also hunted buffalo, but they did not share the nomadic lifestyle of the Western Plains Indians. Because their farms provided much of what they needed to survive, they were able to live in the villages for most of the year. There's a lot of information here, and what readers do sometimes is they'll reread to really clue into those details. Remember, we're looking for how the Eastern Great Plains Indians are different from the Western Great Plains Indians. So as I read again, get your buttons ready. Listen for how they're different. Ready? Here we go. On the eastern Great Plains, more plentiful rainfall created conditions favorable to farming. Tribes in these areas raised crops such as corn, beans, and squash. I'm pulling out my button. Why do you think I'm doing that? Pause here to tell your learning partner or shout it out to me. Are these Plains Indians the same as the Western Plains Indians, or are they getting their food a different way? Pause to chat, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so What do you guys think? How are those Indians Are they different? Are they same? What's different about what Miss Sabella just read? Turn and talk to your learning partner about that. Make sure you're using your buttons just like she is.
The Eastern Great Plains Indians are farmers. They're growing their food for the most part. That's an important detail. And I'm going to add that to my other buttons. Ready? Let's keep reading. Like tribes to the west, they also hunted buffalo, but they did not share the nomadic lifestyle of the Western Plains Indians. What? Wow, that's an important detail. They did not share the nomadic lifestyle of the Western Plains Indians, which means they pretty much stayed in one place. That's such an important detail. I'm going to add that button to my other buttons. I have my buttons together, and I'm sure you have your buttons together too. Now we're going to do some thinking together so we can tie those details together with a topic statement. Pause here to read over the details that we collected, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue. The details that we gathered taught us that the tribes in the West were nomadic and they moved around following the buffalo. We also learned that the tribes in the East were not nomadic and they stayed in one place because they could grow food on their farms. The Plains Indians in the West lived differently than the Plains Indians in the East. That information can help us generate or make a topic statement, something that ties all of these details together. What do you think a possible topic statement could be? Pause here to tell me or to chat with a learning partner. Then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so what do you think the topic statement could be? We're talking about, Miss Sabella has been talking with you about how the Eastern Plains Indians are different from the Western Plain Indians. We have this information here where one group was nomadic, one group was not, one group followed the buffalo around, one stayed in one place. So what do you think would be a good topic statement? I want you to turn and tell your learning partner, or you can pause the video and tell me out loud, and then we're going to continue listening to Miss Sabella.
Here's a possible topic statement. Western Plains Indians were nomadic, while Eastern Plains Indians were not. I'd like you to take a look at the word while. If you were saying this sentence when you were in first grade, you might have used the word but. Western Plains Indians were nomadic, but Eastern Plains Indians were not. Now that you're in second grade, you can use more sophisticated linking words or transition words, like while or even however. That's something to try this year. Since you're so observant, I know you noticed the check mark in the corner, and you know what that means. Your teacher will take this opportunity to check your stop and jot. So you'll pause here to stop and to jot in your journal about this question. You'll use what you know about the main topic and details from Plains Indians. The question is, how did Eastern Plains Indians live differently from Western Plains Indians? Remember to use complete sentences, and also remember, you can practice out loud before you even write anything down. Pause here to work and just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so what you are going to do in your journal, okay, your knowledge response journal, on page 58, you are going to copy down the chart that Miss Sabella just showed you. I want you to do it a little bit differently though, okay? Because I want you to make it into a T-chart. This is the things for the Eastern Plains Indians, and this is for Western Plains Indians. And then on page 59, you're going to do a quick jot. You're going to answer this question. How did Eastern Plains Indians live differently from Western Plains Indians? Where are you going to get that information? Right there. It's already written on the chart on page 58. Okay, so you're going to use this information to answer this question right over here. Okay, so I would like for you to go ahead and pause the video and do that now before we move on. It doesn't have to be a lot, guys. You can just pick one of those and compare. Okay, like Eastern Plains Indians were not nomadic, but Western Plains Indians were. Or you could say the Western Plains Indians followed the buffalo around and moved. The Eastern Plains Indians stayed in one place and farmed. It's up to you which one you want to do. So go ahead and do that now. And when you're done, you can go ahead and hit play and continue watching the video.
This is a great time for a stretch break. Pause here to take a stretch break and then just hit play when you're ready to continue. Why is choosing points important? Whenever we're writing a paragraph to support a topic, we want to include information that is strongly connected to that topic. That evidence is called a point. Some of the points that we could gather could be more important than others to include in the paragraph. And we need to be choosy about what we include. That means that we need to carefully select or choose the evidence that best supports the topic. The topic statement is, Western Plains Indians were nomadic, while Eastern Plains Indians were not. Now we need to choose the points that best support this topic statement. The key words in this topic statement are nomadic and we're not. We're not nomadic. As we choose our points or select our evidence, we need to keep those key terms in mind. The evidence that we select or the points that we choose need to focus on the Plains Indians and whether they were nomadic or not nomadic. I'm going to read the points aloud in Plan 1, and then I would like you to pause so you can read them aloud. Ready? Here we go. The Assiniboine people lived in northern Montana. Comanche people got horses from Spanish explorers. Tribes in the East ate buffalo and plants. I'd like you to pause here to read those bullets out loud to yourself, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. You can try to read it with me, but I know there's a lot of really hard words in here, okay? So if you would like to try to read it with me, you can. The Assiniboine people lived in northern Montana. Comanche people got horses from Spanish explorers. Tribes in the East ate buffalo and plants.
Now, let's think about each point. The Assiniboine people lived in northern Montana. Does that mention if they're nomadic or if they were not? I don't think so. Let's look at the next bullet. Comanche people got horses from Spanish explorers. Does that support the topic statement? Is it discussing how the people were nomadic or not? I don't think so. Let's look at the third bullet. Tribes in the East ate buffalo and plants. What do you think about that one? Pause here to talk to your learning partner about that, or talk to me. Just hit play when you're ready to continue.
So the topic statement is that the Western Plains Indians were nomadic, while the Eastern Plains Indians were not. So we need to be picking information that talks about whether they were nomadic or not nomadic. And the third point says tribes in the East ate buffalo and plants. So that makes me think that buffalo are incredibly important to them. And because they're so important, that means they have to follow them around. So what do you think? Does that mean that they are nomadic or not nomadic?
Now, let's take a look at Plan 2. I'm going to read the 3 points out loud, and then I'd like you to pause and read them out loud yourself. Western Plains Indians ate mostly buffalo. They followed the herds. More rain falls in the Eastern Plains, so people could grow crops. Eastern Plains Indians lived mostly in farming villages. Pause here to read those points out loud, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so Plan 2 says Western Plains Indians ate mostly buffalo. They followed the herd. The more rain falls in the Eastern Plains, so people could grow crops. Eastern Plains Indians lived mostly in farming villages.
Which plan best supports the topic statement? Which plan has points that support the big idea in the topic statement of being nomadic or not nomadic? You decide. Pause here to think or to chat with a learning partner, and just hit play when you're ready to continue. Please pause here to grab your journal and your pencil, and I'd like you to jot these 2 questions in your journal. Pause here to gather what you need and to jot the questions, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue. Here's a chance for you to share your fabulous thinking with your classroom teacher. Which set of points supports the topic best? Plan 1 or Plan 2? And be sure to explain to your classroom teacher why. So you'll have more than one sentence and you may have several. Remember, it's okay to rehearse out loud first before you write. I'm going to put the evidence slide back up while you work. So pause on that slide to jot in your journal, and then just hit play when you're ready to wrap up our video lesson.
Okay, so you need to be on page 60 of your knowledge response journal today so that you can.
Because
Hold
of
on,
your
Miss Sabella. We're still right there. So you are on page 60. Now you're going to write that question on the top that Miss Sabella just had on the board. and you're going to answer the question on page 60 of your journal, okay? And then when you're done with your answer, you can go ahead and play and wrap up the lesson.
Because of your powerful thinking, we need to add something very important to our informative writing anchor chart. An effective writer uses important points to support the topic statement. You know how to read over evidence and how to select or choose the most important points to include in an informative paragraph. You worked very hard and did some very powerful thinking. You should be very proud of yourself. Whenever we're eager to become an expert on a topic through reading informational text, it's so important to pay attention to the details and to make connections between those details so we can better understand a topic. It's also important to be choosy when we're including details in our own informative paragraphs. Our paragraphs can be used to share our new learning with others, so it's important to include points that support our topic. You worked extremely hard today and did some very powerful thinking and some very powerful reading. I want to thank you for your hard work, and I will see you again soon, my friends.
Okay, so that is the end of the lesson for today. I want to make sure that you know what you need to do today. You need to make sure that you get the chart copied down on page 58. The wrong way. Page 58. Then you're going to use the chart. Hold on, my screen's too small. I need to make it big. There we go. So then you're going to use the chart on page 58 to answer this. I'm having a hard time figuring out where I'm at, guys. Use the chart to answer this question on this page, okay? And it can just be 1 or 2 sentences. And then on page 60, you're going to use the chart that Miss Sabella has in the video. And if you need to go back and look at the chart again to decide if it's plan 1 or plan 2, that makes the point support the topic best, and tell me why you think that, okay? And then you're going to take a picture of these 3 pages and upload them onto the Google slide. And that is your work for today. All right, so you guys have a great day, and I will see you later for phonics. Bye.